is the Glass Cannon Network.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Voyagers of the Jump. Before we get into anything tonight, I just want to take a moment to say how amazing everyone was last episode. Yeah, I mean, seriously, amazing work. It was so much fun for me, and you guys didn't know that was coming, and I thought about telling you, but then I was like, I think they'll have more fun if they don't know it's coming. So then we just jumped in, and everyone was fantastic. So thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you. That was really fun.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah, it's always fun to submit oneself to a military interrogation.
Interrogations, yeah. They're great. No wonder everyone loves them so much.
I love when a game master asks you like seemingly very off the cuff, nonchalant questions before he's like, I just want to get a gauge. Like, let me just, a random question. Like, what's something you have on the ship? What? I don't know. Something random. And then he throws it in your face so hard, like a slap in the face. Love it.
A couple of you gave me some information that I was like, oh, this is gold. It's going to hurt so bad when it's not on the ship anymore.
I was pissed. I was really pissed. I was like, if he doesn't give me my stuff back, I'm going to freak out.
I mean, it got me thinking too about like, it's obvious, like that interrogation, obviously it's a nod to the Expanse, and that kind of a similar kind of moment happens in the Expanse, but it's such an interesting way to get at character and also like know what secrets they're keeping and what they look like when they're lying. And especially but like a lot of like because you all got to listen, you got to hear stuff about each other's characters that you didn't possibly know. It's another way that the role-playing game is a different form of writing than any form of writing I've ever encountered before.
It's true.
Well, stuff like when you ask like what's the secret nobody else knows. It's like, I haven't thought about this. And then kind of an answering that, it's like, oh, I just added like this kind of whole other spectrum to the character. So I love those types of questions. Like, just what random thing do you put value in? Not monetarily, or what's a secret that you have? It's like those always actually make the best characters. So no, I loved it. Just. Then you threw it in my face like 10 minutes later, but
then it used as a weapon against us immediately. Still very clever.
This is why I always have amnesiacs. My parents are dead.
Have you guys ever played Dread, the game Dread?
No.
I ran it once, and then it was run for me at PaizoCon once. But it's basically, you can kind of do it with anything, but the book comes with what you discover essentially are the plots of like Alien, a slasher movie of some kind, and one other that I'm forgetting. But it's a game played around a Jenga tower. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
And you basically, the way it works is every time you do want to do a check or do something, the GM tells you to pull a Jenga tile, and if you cause the tower to fall, you die. And you can scale up the difficulties of the checks by how many blocks they have to pull. So if you're doing the slasher movie and you're like, okay, I'm running away from the killer, and is there a tree around? Okay, I'll climb up that tree. And the GM will be like, all right, yeah, go ahead, and you're the jock. That's what you're playing. Go ahead and pull one block. And then if the nerd is like, okay, I want to do that too. You're like, oh, well, you're the nerd. You haven't really been working out, so you have to pull 3 blocks. It's really fun.
Terrible.
But the best part about it is that the best / worst, depending on what your particular tastes are. The character creation system is if you basically the GM just sends out questionnaires before the game starts, and it's like, what's your name? And it's like, oh, you're the ship's engineer, or you're the ship's robot, or whatever it is. And it's like, what's your name? Like, where were you born? And that kind of question. Then it gets to, I think one of the questions on one of the ones for the alien story is, what is the thing and why do you have it? Or so. And then you just hand the questionnaires to the GM before the game. The GM reads them all, and then you just proceed. It's so much fun. Highly
I
recommend.
love it. I love it because it's literally like one of those acting theater games where it's like spin around in a circle, and when you freeze, like the position you're in is like the scene that you're doing, and you're literally just telling your character like you're the robot. Like, what do you do? It's I don't know. I want to buy this like immediately. That sounds so fun.
It's fun. The best part is, and this was explained to me the first time we played, but whenever every game apparently starts this way, where everyone's just kind of like sitting on the table, we're all hanging around, having our drinks, our food are on the table. And then after the first person dies, like the first time the tower falls, people will just take all their stuff off the table. And then by the time the second or third person dies, everyone's just kind of like backed up to the wall. Because the sense of dread is so palpable.
Wait, it's called Dread? Does everybody die? Is that how it ends?
Yeah.
It's kind of a game where everyone is kind of supposed to die, but usually there's like one survivor.
I love
in the style of
okay.
A slasher or Alien or something like that, where it's like
survival sort of game.
It's
we should
super
play
fun.
this online together and do like an online Jenga. I'm sure there's a way to play online Jenga where like
It's probably online Jenga.
pieces or something.
I know. Part of me
Digital
during-
pieces, maybe.
early
like
on
you
the
pull it.
pandemic.
I don't know.
We could just hire someone to like be in a room with a Jenga tower of third party, and then we'll watch. It's like, pull that one, Eric, and then they'll like pull it.
It becomes like very Squid Game-esque where you're like, Eric, you're gonna kill me.
Yeah,
You better not
and if
fuck
they
up.
pull it, then both the player and Eric dies.
Die. And
If
Eric
they-
dies
if it falls.
for real.
Yeah,
Eric dies for real, and then
Yeah.
you have to have another Eric standing by.
It's another
Right.
person with a name tag that says Eric and they walk in through a doorway.
yeah. Oh, you're the Eric for this game. I got this gig as an Eric. It's like, oh man, good luck.
This has become something otherworldly.
Yeah.
I really,
that's
I
funny.
want to do it where we could I want to stream where you get one of those cameras that like you put in the center of the table in a meeting and it like swivels to whoever is talking.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like somehow suspended over the Jenga tower, so it can do like I don't know how.
Sort of like that 70s show,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that'd be the only way to stream, right? So you have like a Jenga tower cam, and then you have a like table cam of everyone just kind of like around
sweating.
sweating. Yeah.
Profusely sweating. I love that.
I mean, you guys were sent on this mission. You don't really know what's going on, but I mean, like, are there stories that you guys love about people who undertake like seemingly doomed missions for fortune, glory, their lives? Kind of a Suicide Squad-esque idea, but maybe not quite so suicide-y.
I mean, I've always loved stories where the presumption is that no matter what the protagonists do, they're doomed. I love these like hopeless scenarios. The one that I always come back to is that Palladium put out a game called Mechanoids back in the late 80s. And it was sort of like it's like a Battlestar Galactica type situation or something, but this alien mechanized species had come to Earth and wiped everyone out. And the last remaining humans, I think, are on the moon. I think they're like stuck on the moon. And yeah, the premise is that no matter what you do, they're going to win, but you just have to live. You have to do your best, like until that happens. And I love stories like that. Those are some of my favorite kind of stories. But as far as like a team, like a doomed team, I don't know. I can't think of one.
I mean, Dirty Dozen is the one I go to, but
Yeah.
Sorry, Seth.
Or
I was say Dirty Dozen when they were advertising Rogue One. That was like the very first thing I said. Like if they all survive, I'll be pissed. But if this is Dirty Dozen and like one walks out, I'm gonna love it. And I was not disappointed, but because it kind of advertised itself that way. It's like that's what I want. Is you don't know who's next. So I do enjoy those, except for I'm actually in the game right now, so no, I hate them.
for the record, we don't like them. Really, we don't actually like them.
For the record, I don't want to actually live it.
Yeah.
It makes me think of like some of the best horror movies that kind of use that as a plot device as opposed to, gore, jump scare type stuff. But the idea, and Ari Aster does it really well, that he like talks about his characters and how when he creates them, he's like, I'm just continually leading lambs to the slaughter, like throughout the whole film. So for the audience, you're just like, oh my God, like the whole time you're like, it can't possibly get worse. And then it just continues to get worse for like these main characters who are supposed to be sort of the heroes of the story. But I think like Hereditary does it really well as a team because the whole family is like doomed, just horribly, horribly doomed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's true with the horror. It's kind of the kind of classic horror setup, right? Where we're probably not all going to make it. We're almost certainly not all going to make it out.
Like the classic end of The Thing, you know, the two guys, and are they both human? And then it just kind of fades to black. It's like, well, when these fires go out, we're going to freeze to death, but maybe we got it. And it just fades out.
So good. I can't remember.
I have a movie suggestion.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Did you guys watch the show Squid Game? Did you watch it?
Yes.
You all saw Squid Game on Netflix?
I have not.
Oh,
You
it's
haven't?
good.
Matthew, I'm surprised.
I know. I need to watch it.
It's good.
That was okay. That was like the pandemic thing. But anyway, there's a movie called Would You Rather?
Oh, yes. I haven't seen it, but you liked it? You thought it was good?
When we brought up the bringing lambs to slaughter type plot movie, that's exactly what it feels like. I don't even want to talk about what's in the movie because I want you to experience it yourself. But it came from a truly twisted mind, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. That it is. It's sort of like, how can this possibly get worse? And it does. It's called Would You Rather. And when I watched Squid Game, I was like, you weren't the first to do this. Because I watch indie movies. Yeah, watch it. I don't know where it is, but just, Google, find out where to watch and thank me later. The acting is questionable, but still, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, I'll watch this.
all right. Well, speaking of bringing lambs to the slaughter, there we go. Nailed the segue finally.
You're coming along.
No. I didn't mean to suggest you guys were lambs that we're bringing to the slaughter or that you wouldn't make it out of here alive. I don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, last episode, the crew of the Far Trader Kate's Gambit, pilot, Philo speaker. Yes,
The Kate's Gambit.
excuse me,
that's
Far
right.
Trader, the
We're
Kate's
fancy.
Gambit.
Yeah, we're fancy.
Far Trader, the Kate's Gambit, pilot, Philo speaker, astrogator Artemis Piper, steward Georgina Gigi Kershaw, and engineer Wes Puffer DeMar. When completing a job that, as it turns out, had them deliver weapons to a possible terrorist organization on the world of Gardavillis. Afterwards, they were intercepted by an entire Imperial Navy battle squadron, a Batron, and taken captive above an Imperial heavy cruiser. And after being subjected to hours of interrogation by a nameless lieutenant commander and a mysterious woman from the foreign desk, Ms. Banks, the crew was brought before Admiral Gage, the head of Naval Intelligence. And he offered to make these new charges go away in exchange for the crew undertaking a dangerous mission on his behalf. And so you learned about the ISS Ellison, a supposed long-haul Navy freighter that disappeared more than 70 years ago and had become a kind of ghost story among spacers. And you heard that it had been spotted and recorded by two rival worlds, Clorth and Nodra. Both planets are Imperial client worlds about to apply for full membership, which could have an enormous impact on the Emperor's plans to colonize the far frontier. And while we're on the subject of Clorth and Nodra, so last week you guys were asking for information on these planets, and I punted, but I now have their universal world profiles, and I'm going to transmit them to you now.
Oh,
And then we can talk about what those mean. So, would one of you brave volunteers offer to read the universal world profile for Clorth?
I'll do Clorth.
Okay.
So Clorth's Universal Planetary Profile, or UPP, is B886556-8. And trade code GA. So from that, do you want me to translate it?
Please, translate.
Okay. So looking at the Universal World Profile key that we've been provided here on this cheat sheet.
Thank you,
So
Seth.
the first hexadecimal, it's a hexadecimal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The first hexadecimal B is for the starport. So it is a starport level. It is 11 or B, which is good. It has like a good starport. Not A is the best. B is like second best. Then the next number is the size, which is 8, which is 12,800 kilometers. That's Earth size, basically, is 8. That's a standard size. And then the next number is 8 for atmosphere. It has a dense atmosphere. Good to know. The next number is water coverage, which is 6. So that is, what is that, 46 to 55%? Or no, 56 to 65% water.
Okay.
Which is a little less than Earth, but there's plenty of oceans, lots of good sailing. But also plenty of good places to build apartments. And then the next number is population size, which is 5, which is 10 to the 4th power.
Should be 10 to the 5th. If I did that, then that's wrong.
Oh, 10 to the 5th power. Okay. This is getting harder to read as I go across.
Yes.
But so that's a lot of people.
100,000 people.
100,000 people. No, not that many, as it turns out.
That was the one piece of information you did have last week.
Right. Okay. And then the next one is the government style, which is 5. Is that 5 again?
He should be, feudal technocracy.
Feudal technocracy. Okay, that's right. And then the last one is the law level, which is a 6. So that is that's pretty.
Firearms are banned except for shotguns and stunners, and carrying weapons is discouraged but not legal, and there's no banned armor, so you can wear armor.
So Vermont.
Well, actually, if you look at everything above
there's a lot of guns
that,
in Vermont.
I know,
all
but not
the armor.
But it's not Texas where you have
6 is
you
banned.
can carry anything.
Oh, is that how it works? Everything above, so mesh, cloth, flak, combat armor, and battle dress are all banned?
Yeah.
Wait, banned meaning if you're like, I'm getting off my ship and you have it on, they're going to be like, you're coming to jail on our planet.
And sometimes starports kind of have like a different law level than the rest of the world. Like they're almost like imperial space, but sometimes not. But yeah, if you were to like walk around the planet wearing combat armor, you'd probably find yourself getting in a lot of trouble.
You'll get a talking to.
Thank you for that, Skid. Would anyone like to work through Nodra? I feel like this is a class. It doesn't have to feel that didactic, but if you want, you can do it with the same kind of droid of Reeve that Skid brought to you.
Okay, I'll take it. Nodra.
Yep.
Code C887555-8. Trade code is GA, meaning that is a garden world. So I guess there's a lot of produce made there. So Class C starport, decent, not the best. It's technically a starport. It possibly has a upport and downport, but maybe not, just because we're kind of at the lower end of decent starports. Size 8, so Earth-sized. So we've got 1G worth of gravity. Let's see, what have we got next? Atmosphere type 8. So we've got a dense atmosphere. 7 is hydrographic. Okay, so we got a good amount of water here. Is this 66 to 75% water?
Roughly Earth-like.
Yeah, roughly Earth-like.
And then population is, well, it's 10 to the 5th power, so about 100,000 people. Government is, I think it's the same as before, isn't it? Feudal technocracy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then law level is 6. So it's a little bit stricter, isn't it? Nope, it's the same. No, law level's 5. Sorry, I read the right one. Okay.
A lot stricter. What is that?
So, personal concealed weapons are our band here, and but we can get away with firearms. So it's a little bit looser than the last one. And finally, we've got 8. So our tech level is 8, which is just a hair above where we are now. So,
yeah, they've got social media, they've got the internet, they've got computers. They don't necessarily have. They're not warp ready yet.
Right.
To mix our.
Yeah, I think that's at tech level 9 is when the jump technology kicks off.
Yes, I think you're right.
Okay.
I had that page open and then I changed it. So now I can't find it again.
As is always the case.
Yes, so thank you for that. So yeah, basically, like you'll notice they're very, very similar worlds. A couple differences here and there. One world has a better starport. One world has, a little less strict on their laws, but all in all, very similar worlds. Colonized at the same time. Yeah. Okay. Well, now that we know all that, we also know that both planets are putting together missions to capture the Ellison. However, what Admiral Gage and Ms. Banks revealed to you is that the Ellison was actually no freighter. It was really an experimental warship with an enormous weapons payload. And its mission was to stay in near constant jump, untouchable by enemy or insurgent forces, and ready to annihilate a world at the whims of the Emperor. And basically, if Klorth or Nodra were able to capture the Ellison, it stands likely that they will use the Ellison's weaponry to destroy the other. The Cold War will turn hot. At the same time, though, the Navy's hands are tied. If they were to interfere in an area outside of Imperial space, Klorth and Nodra would surely leave the negotiating table and maybe not join the Imperium. So Admiral Gage taps this crew to jump to where the Ellison was found drifting and charges you with boarding and gaining control of the derelict ship and jumping it away before the Klorthians and or the Nodrans can get there. And then he offers to sweeten the pot by restoring Philo and Puffer's commissions, providing information about Gigi's missing sister, and wiping the record clean for Artemis's erstwhile lover, Professor Nodra. Got all that? So they agree and set out. Oh, I should also mention, Seth, in the interim, you mocked up the Kate's Gambit.
Yes.
I love it.
He did a great job.
I need to put a "the" on it.
That could be our doing. It might not actually be on the ship.
Oh,
like-
right.
So it's like you guys are like, the Kate's Gambit.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Like we're introducing ourselves at during the first snap.
Okay, yes, and then when you all arrived at the designated coordinates, the Ellison wasn't there. And you did a sensor sweep and revealed nothing, and then all of a sudden the Ellison appeared dead astern and began broadcasting on all frequencies. Civilian vessel, you are in violation of Imperial Law 42387.3. Prepare to be boarded. And I said before we started, I had a pretty good idea of how you would respond to most things in the previous episodes. I have literally no idea what you're about to do. So what are you all thinking?
I'm a little tired of getting boarded. Philo's a little bit tired.
I'm a little bored of getting boarded.
Yeah.
So we weren't really given any codes or anything because this was such a secret mission. I mean, did we get like computer access codes or anything at all from the Vice Admiral when they sent us in? Like, hey, here's the key.
Override or something?
As far as the Admiral knew, those didn't exist. This was such a confidential project. All records of this, as far as the Chief of Naval Intelligence could find, or so he's telling you, had disappeared.
Okay. But so we have nothing to back up our story though. But we got the backdoor key. Okay.
Also, remind me again, sorry, Matthew. The ship has been missing for how long?
73 years.
73 years.
And we saw 41 life forms when we scanned it.
Yes. So you know that the crew complement, officers, crew, Marines, would have been 43, right? Forgive me if I...
42.
42, and you scanned and found 41 life forms aboard.
So somebody's missing, basically. We don't know. Okay. So the last thing we hear is prepare to be boarded, basically, right?
Yeah. I mean, Seth, you bring up an interesting possibility. So if is your idea like you want to try to convince them you are Navy or Navy intelligence or somebody that would have the authority to board the ship? Is that what you were getting at?
Well, yeah, because I figure a thought is like, oh, hey, we were sent here by this admiral who was born after you were sent. By the way, this is the new emperor. Assuming we've had a changeover in emperor in the past 70 years. I don't know. It could be like the Queen of England.
I think you have. I think it's not long after.
I think it was a fairly recent change in emperor, like within the last 3 years or something, what I recall. I don't know how the Frontier War went. And, but like, basically like, hey, we were sent because this happened and we've got this to back it up. I mean, presumably we've got all the records on our ship of like news for the past 70 years, but that could be fake. So I was like, do we have a code or like a piece of paper with a little wax stamp that, because you can't fake those. But something.
Like registration or something.
Something to back this up, because otherwise it's just like, we promise. We're all sketchy.
Well, the other thing is, if we don't say that we're military or have any information, they're just going to jump again or blow
or
us
shoot
up.
us as witnesses. Yeah. So we've got to fess up.
Yeah.
Seth, roll an advocate roll.
Education, I'm assuming?
Education, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
If anyone else has advocate, you're welcome to roll too.
13.
Nope.
Okay. That is basically, you would succeed at a very difficult check with that. So I will tell you, Imperial Law 42387.3 is actually a bit of outdated space-time law. And it holds that civilian vessels are prohibited from coming within a certain distance of military vessels, space vessels, except with the explicit instructions of the military vessel. And you would also know that it was superseded about 50 years ago by a new law that essentially unified this law and a bunch of other various laws governing ground, sea, air vehicles with space vehicles. So bottom line, this is a law that the Navy hasn't needed to invoke for more than half a century.
Okay. Should I tell them that? Or who's on comms? We can pass that.
Gigi is, right?
Yeah.
You're keeping secrets.
Yeah.
And I will, so going to your theory is the crew on those 41 souls are the original crew. So, and I would say if you do want to operate with that theory, if you wanted to have said that in the week during your jump, you spent time forging documents or fabricating some sort of evidence that you were naval officers or intelligence officers or that piece of paper with a wax seal, I would let you roll for that.
I was busy checking the ship personally, but the others definitely been doing that.
Yeah, I could try my hand at that. What is the check for that again? What did we say?
Good question. Streetwise, or I would let you do computers, electronics, or electronics, computers.
Artemis.
I mean, I could do computers, electronics, or if we could work together with our skills.
I think you said I was able to take enough time between checking every wire and pipe and cutting open every seat. I can assist. Otherwise, no, I
would say if Puffer, if you want to participate, you have to you assist by setting up the task chain.
Okay.
Skid, what is Philo? Does Philo want to do it, or?
I don't have unless I want to take one of my team skills now.
Mm-hmm.
Is Streetwise one of those? What is the package? No. What? Or
no, you could say back in the day when you hooked up with so-and-so, that's how you got Streetwise.
Okay.
I mean, Streetwise, I don't know, it's not the best fit.
Yeah, Streetwise isn't great.
I would say...
I just think Philo, because you actually have knowledge of the military. Artemis is a liar and a thief, but doesn't know the military stuff, so maybe it would be better for Philo to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also roll deception. I mean, let's make a concoction of skills. So if we have some, if you want to say, you can make an argument for whatever. So if you want to say Streetwise, it gives you an argument for how to forge the documents. Comms, the computers check is the ultimate thing because you have to fabricate something. But if you want to say I'm going to use my naval tactics to kind of make it look nice. I'm open to all arguments here.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that naval tactics should factor in, I would think. And then probably advocate too, I would say, just for the legalese of it.
That would be good. That would be helpful.
Even though Puffer is very busy this week.
I can tell you what to say as I'm like 8 feet in an air duct.
Yeah, we're just like transcribing
Your legs are
boilerplate
dangling out of the air duct and you're just
as
like
you're sitting
rattling
in a
off
Jeffries tube.
Imperial space codes.
Okay, so I feel like I should have naval tactics, but I don't. So maybe I'll just take that now as a background skill.
Yeah.
As one of your
Or a
connections rule skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Somebody else somebody else has that, don't they?
I have military tactics for movements of ground troops.
Right.
And
Okay,
that sort
maybe
of
that's
thing.
what I was thinking of.
I skipped that class in college.
So if you all want to participate, that sounds like a lot of fun. So if we all just make a task chain for the 4 of you. So if Puffer's going to do advocate, someone's going to do computers, someone's going to do what else? What else we have? Deception, streetwise.
Yeah, I could do computers. I mean, Gigi, do you have good deception or streetwise or?
Actually, I do have a 0 in streetwise, which is a good thing. But
Yeah.
I don't have anything in advocate. I have nothing in deception. That makes sense. She wouldn't have deception.
You're a very
But she
honest
has
person.
drive.
Yeah.
Is drive like drive or drive?
It's like steering wheel drive.
First one.
Do streetwise. Maybe Gigi, maybe you and I, if I'm doing computers, maybe I'm like writing it up what Philo is telling me to do in the computer, and you're giving me advice on how like accurate or inaccurate it's looking from like just your street knowledge.
That's actually a good idea. Okay, let's do that. I like it. Let's go for it.
Or like how to use Photoshop to make it look like a driver's license.
I don't know how to
Yes.
use Photoshop. I just know what to put in the computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a rumor of a guy not far from where I grew up in Jersey who made fake IDs for people, and he had a driver's license painted on his basement wall. The old New Jersey driver's license were very easy to rip off, and you would just go stand in front of the wall, and he took a photo of it, and like it matched the proportions, and then he would like print it out and laminate it for you.
Yeah, that was my first fake ID. A bunch of my friends were art students at the University of Southern Colorado, and they had like a big cutout like that of the New Mexican driver's license. And they had a bunch of like cut out letters, and they'd like stick them onto the giant like license. And then they'd hold it up, you'd stand in front of it, take a picture, and laminate it. And that works for a little while.
Okay, that's hilarious.
Wow.
So
Everybody has their fake ID stories.
Yeah.
I actually
You're all a bunch of
never had a
criminals.
fake ID. You didn't need a fake ID where I went to school. Anyway,
I had a fake ID, but I grew up
I had
in
a
the
fake
age of
ID.
the internet where I just like emailed someone a photo of me and like $200, and then they mailed me a fake ID from Connecticut and never asked
Connecticut? That's where
any
I'm
que-
from.
Yeah. Is it really? I don't know why I picked Connecticut. I don't know shit about Connecticut. If a bouncer was ever like, "Oh, you're from Danbury," I would be like, "Fuck."
That was big
right.
business in Connecticut, man.
It should have been
Anyway,
Delaware.
Let's continue with the story.
It should have been Delaware because nobody's from Delaware.
all right. So Sid, you're rolling the computers check. So let's have you go last. You're the actual one making the
Okay.
thing. Let's do the rolls, and then let's talk about like what your story is. But all right. So let's just go in the order you are. So Seth, do you want to go first?
So I'm doing advocate.
Yep.
Okay. So based off my advocate and education of it, I've got a 9 + 2, 11.
Okay, great. So that is going to grant a +2 to the next roll. So Alicia, do you want to roll your streetwise?
Then, yeah, let's do that. Ooh, 9.
Okay, so with the +2 or +2 on top of the 9?
Oh, no, if I get, I don't get +2 on that, though.
You got it from Seth's roll.
Ooh, okay, so that makes it an 11.
Okay, terrific. So Sid, that will grant. I'm sorry, you're in last. So Skid, what are you rolling? You get a +2 to that as well.
I was going to roll naval tactics.
Great.
I'm going to take that as a teamwork. What is it called when you just
Connections rule.
cheat? Connections rule.
Oh,
So
That's right.
I'm going to take naval tactics for my connections role. Maybe just hanging out with Puffer, comparing notes. I'm able to kind of nerd out about it.
Because by default, I have naval tactics at 0 because I have military tactics. So that was probably how that all started.
Okay, cool. So like hanging out late at night in the bar, swapping stories about famous battles, astral battles in history.
Yeah, maybe you've got all the books. Maybe you have like all these, and you guys have just like nerding out over the books.
Yes. Okay. Great. Yeah, I'm reading.
We've been
Sun Tzu and
wargaming. I mean, that's really all it was. Just getting drunk and wargaming.
That's right. That's right. They're just playing X-wing battles at the bar. Unfortunately, though, I did roll a natural 2.
Oh no!
So what is-
This is what happens
kind of
when you learn
effect
from
do we get?
wargaming, Skid.
So
This is real life, man.
what's the final number on that skin?
Well, actually,
Because you still have education. I would say add your education.
yeah. So that's a 5.
Okay, so that is a fail. So Sid,
Yeah.
you have to make a computers check with a -1.
A -1. Okay. That would have been a 10. It's a 9.
Okay. Well,
I don't like that.
oh, wait a minute.
so as far as you know, the documents look great. Let's talk about what your so what's your story here? What is this? What is this paperwork actually saying?
I want it to basically be the truth because the best lies are close too.
Yeah.
We have been essentially drafted by the Imperial Navy to go into non-Imperium space due to a sighting of a military asset, a secret asset, to do it. And our story is because we are clearly not military. If we're caught, it's deniability. To seize control. This paperwork was to show if there are low berth passengers aboard or anything that might be there. But we are coming in with the assumption that this is going to be just an empty ship. So basically, we're going to make up fake paperwork for the true story.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then maybe the paperwork also like gives you a certain level of clearance, like because this is also a top secret. Like it was a highly confidential warship.
Yeah. We have black level clearance.
Yeah, and it says
Fuchsia.
destroy this document after reading.
Right. It's
After
printed
the
out on like
completion
edible paper.
of. Right. Yeah, we'll eat it after. Upon
It's like
the transfer.
really just a fruit roll up.
Yeah, that's right. It's all printed on dried fruit.
That's why we got a 9, because we printed it on a fruit roll-up and thought,
right.
well, this is probably how they do it. So
Common rookie mistake.
All right. So Sid, Artemis, when you take everyone's input and you sit down to forge this document, and you feel like you've done a pretty good job.
guys, I nailed this one. Some of my best work went into this little piece. So please take it, and I think we're gonna have no problem whatsoever.
Right. You seem very confident, and this gives me confidence in turn.
What can I say?
I shout down from an air vent, looks good.
I will say you do have a nagging thought that maybe you're like, I don't know, like I've never seen a document like this before. Or you're just kind of making your best guess based on what everyone told you, but
Chances are they haven't seen one of these before either, because
That's true.
how often are military asset ships lost and you have to send a bunch of criminals on a secret mission. So
This is an unusual situation. They probably haven't encountered this before.
Puffer,
So the
wanna-
key here
wanna
is to be as
reiterate-
confident as possible.
Yeah, also, Puffer, want to reiterate, don't tell them we're criminals. Don't tell them that we are criminals. That's like the truth you don't tell them.
Oh, you
It's a
probably want
badge
to
you
delete
wear
line
with
4.
pride.
Did you put that in the document?
No.
Oh my!
No, we were civilians. There are 2 former military aboard.
I'm out of time. I can't fix it. It's already in the computer.
I might need a little bit of foundation to cover my prisoner tattoo on my face.
Okay. So that all happened during the jump, during the week of the jump. So you just got a retransmission. Civilian vessel, you're in violation of Imperial Law 42387.3, prepare to be boarded. Also, I should mention, the Ellison is right in front of you, and I actually misspoke last week. I told you the size of the ship was an 800-ton hull, because I don't know why, but it was stupid, because that's actually way too small for this ship. So it's actually about a 15,000-ton hull. It's big.
Oh,
It's a capital
Big ship. Much bigger ship.
We're in 200. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
The other thing that you can see as you're now like basically looking out the window directly at it is that this thing is basically wall-to-wall weapons. You know, missile bays. You see the doors of the missile bays, turrets, some kind of weapon on a spinal mount, like that's the spine of the ship, and there's a weapon kind of poking out the front. And also, there's a ventral mount. And I mean, despite its large size, you would imagine that basically every inch of unused space on this ship would have to be some sort of weapons bay.
Okay.
it's
So it
the
looks
A10
like what it
Warthog
sounds like.
of capital ships. Got it.
Okay, so what do you do?
Go ahead.
I would suggest, since Gigi's aren't comms, to be friendly, but also inform them that 1, we're not in Imperial space, and 2, that is an outdated rule, but we are happy to see them. And, it's like, hey guys, we're looking for you. By the way, this has changed and you don't actually have authority here, but that's fine because we wanted to dock anyway. How would you like some coffee?
Yeah.
That's what you want me to say to them, Puffer?
Yes, that's a good touch.
Calms
Ask them
it
what they
up.
take in their coffee.
You're a
That's
people
good.
person. I'm literally covered in grease, smudging over my prison tattoo.
Yeah, look at him. He looks like he just got released today. And he's not had a chance to shower yet.
Put on your charm, do your thing, and send over the document and say, we're transcoding it in, and we have approval.
Wait a minute. And Gigi's gonna stand up and look over because she remembers that when we were in that war room with the Admiral, how Philo bristled with how we were talking to the Admiral. Remember how Philo was sort of like, these people are talking to him, like, how dare they talk to him? Like that was sort of like his sentiment. So Gigi's gonna stand up and walk over to Philo and place a hand on his forearm. And you'll notice that, like, she still has some chocolate on her face from eating 2 of Puffer's pudding cups. And she's gonna say, Philo, I'm known for my bedside manner, okay? I'm known for being good and I like being the face of this crew because it makes me feel like I'm important and like I'm doing something. But I think that this is something you're good at. Now don't disappoint us, or I'll be your ass.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So, yeah, Philo is like, he is a, Navy man, and he's very nervous all of a sudden, just like talking to higher ranked naval officers just gives him kind of the willies a little bit in this situation. But he's going to think back into his DNA, think about all the military people in his past, going back generations. And he's going to steel himself and try it. Crew of the Ellison. This is the SS The Kate's Gambit. We are acting under Imperial authority under His Royal Imperial Highness Stefan I. We have been given authority in this matter to take control of your ship. We do not know what your awareness is of the current situation, or even if you are aware of the current year, but rest assured that we will do this legally and with the smallest amount of pain for all parties involved. Please power down your weapons, but we are willing to talk. What do you like in your coffee? Fuck.
We're gonna get shot.
What?
I just liked the coffee thing. I shouldn't have.
That was Puffer's idea.
Right.
All right,
I thought it was good. I shouldn't have put it in my
not my
They're gonna think it's
ideas.
a code. They're gonna think it's some weird code.
What
Is
do
this
you
really
want
on
to
a
roll,
fruit roll up?
I am gonna roll. I'm gonna roll naval tactics, I guess,
Okay.
to try to like sound like a someone with more authority than I have.
You can do that, but I'm going to have you modify it with social standing and not education.
Social standing, of course. Okay. 11.
Okay.
No, 12. 12.
12. Okay. All right. There's a pause, and they say, a new voice comes on. Female voice. Kate's Gambit. Please transmit your proof of authority now.
And he like snaps at Sydney. At Artemis. It's like,
Okay. And I send it through.
Received. Please hold 1 minute. Stand by. It's like, let's just take a moment while they're reviewing your documents. What you just sent over a forged document to a lost Imperial warship that has an armament that rivals that of a Batron that is specifically designed to annihilate worlds. Your little ship is kind of floating right in front of it.
I think they're literally 70 times as big as we are.
I think that Seth makes a really good point, though, that if this is the original crew and it in some weird, like time jump moment
Ooh,
that
stasis.
well, yeah, that they just truly are so out of the loop, then we have a really good chance that they might need help. And if they believe us, then we're good. Then we're golden.
After a moment, the comm is crackled to life, and it's a new voice, a female voice. And it says, please transmit your proof of authority now. What do you do?
We send it?
I gesture wildly at Artemis. It's like, send the fruit roll up.
Good. You really put it on a fruit roll up?
Yes.
Tell them it's
And I
strawberry.
I put the fruit roll up in the special transmit holographic location on the bridge. Then I go, and I send it. I give a thumbs up.
The interstellar space standard fruit roll-up reader that's on the bridge of every starship.
All ships are equipped with them.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe they have a sense of humor. Maybe.
That'd be awesome. Oh boy.
That's what they say about
crossed
it.
Maybe
that
they're
they do.
hungry. Maybe they're just hungry.
Maybe both.
Yeah.
Here they're just laughing and eating when we get over there.
All right. You transmit this forged document to the Ellison. And we'll find out what happens after this ad break.
Oh my gosh, he said it like...
Okay, welcome back. So, I just want to review the situation here.
Please do.
So your little...
I don't.
I would prefer not to. Your little far trader, the Kate's Gambit, is currently floating nose to nose with an experimental Imperial warship that was designed to annihilate worlds at the Emperor's whim. And you sent over a forged document, maybe on fruit roll-up. I wasn't quite sure if that was canonical or not.
I mean, it's a sci-fi fruit roll-up. It's just a code.
Yeah,
it's a code.
Yeah, what Seth said. It's a sci-fi fruit roll-up, and now
Yeah,
everyone
I think-
understands what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, it could mean almost anything.
It's kind of like a sci-fi slang in the distant future. That's
Got it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like, give me that.
That's what
It's like, give me that report, and they're like, give me that roll-up, give me that fruit roll-up.
Yeah, it's like something durable for space transmission that can also be very easily destroyed.
it's kind of
cover
like
your
a
tracks.
save
Yeah.
icon still looks like a 3x5, even though we haven't used 3x5s in years. So the term on a fruit roll-up, nobody even knows what a fruit roll-up was.
Right.
They just know what it is.
Right.
Yeah. Should we roll for BS right now?
Well, after waiting about 5 minutes in total silence, I mean, this thing could really like blow you out of the sky with it easily. Another transmission comes in. Your documents have been accepted. Please dock with the starboard airlock. We'll discuss on board the Ellison.
Yes.
Told you I nailed it. I don't know why you guys were nervous. I told you I nailed it.
Never a doubt. Never a doubt.
Good job,
Artemis.
Puffer still doesn't
You too,
trust
Philo.
it.
Yeah, this is still like a crazy, dangerous, unsure situation, of course.
Well, also, like, it's one thing to get, like, okay, the document's approved. It's another thing to board a ship of, like, over 40 crew members on a warship. I don't know. It could go south really fast. We should definitely bring our guns.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Alicia.
Wait, did we check what is the law level of this planet? What is the law level?
Oh, no,
where
but
we
we're
are?
in space.
We're in space.
Oh, so we're fine. Okay,
No one
open
can hear
space,
you,
we're
law
fine. Okay, all right.
No one can hear you, law
Just
level.
checking,
But I'm sure
'cause,
it'll
you know-
be fine with you guys bringing your weapons onto a naval warship.
But
We're on a
also,
naval mission.
Yeah, we're also Navy.
We're civilians, right? Yeah.
I've told this lie. I believe it. It's so deep
I've
in my
told
mind.
this lie so many times, I don't even remember what I said. It's like reality. All right, so Skid, you can clearly see about a third of the way up the fuselage of the chassis, I guess. Either way, of the ship, an airlock on the starboard side. And I'm tempted to make you roll for it, but I think this would be fairly routine. You're able to kind of just like,
Thank
loop
you.
around, pull back in, parallel park next to the ship, and then just kind of fire off the thrusters to kind of move in close to it, and you. And then
We could scrape off the rest of that K.
Yes, right. The remnants of the K will be scraped off in the process.
And then the airlock from their ship extends to dock, and it's just like and starts to depressurize. What do you do? What are you gonna do?
First thing I'm gonna do, as we're kind of coupling here, Philo is gonna go to his quarters and he's going to quickly change into his dress blues and affix his new insignia for his new rank, which he was
so Admiral
promised.
Gage offered to restore your commissions, and
Did we have a
basically-
little ceremony on the ship, like before we left, where he gave us, me and Puffer, our new
It
things?
was on completion.
It was on completion. So maybe these are that you've had. Maybe every time you thought you would have gotten promoted, you fabricated your own rank insignias.
I'm sure I would have done that.
You got him in a pawn shop years ago.
You stopped at the Army Navy store on a world that you were in, and you just picked up a pair of oak leaves.
Oh, how about this? So I do have he is a collector. So he has this collection of old books and everything. So yeah, and he's a huge naval combat enthusiast and everything. Maybe he does have a collection of old insignias throughout the years, even going back to old Earth history and stuff, some old World War II era medals and everything. Maybe he's got some stuff like that. So he goes through there and finds something. Maybe he even has something from the era that the ship was commissioned in. Maybe he has something from there. And so he's going to affix that, but he has a uniform.
Okay.
and
Maybe
so-
they were your grandfathers.
Yeah, maybe they were my grandfathers. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Puffer, do you also put on your uniform, or what do you? How are you going to attire yourself for this meeting?
The document that we sent, does it state my rank?
Does it?
Does it?
Oh, because if it does, then I cannot wear my black incense. But so if I don't have anything to replace it with, so I'll just not wear the coat. So that's really just what it comes down to. My armor's got all the cool tech. The coat's literally just a coat with some cool epaulets. But it matches my hair and it's kind of my look, but probably not the best look for here. So I'm fine either way.
Okay. What do the rest of you do to get ready?
Okay, so
I will put on my sword and pistol.
you put on Jordan.
Nice.
That's awesome. Do I see? I don't know. Does Gigi see them in their new dress blues and stuff before she gets changed or whatever. Maybe she does. Like maybe she sees Philo, like maybe she sees like how fancy he looks, and she sort of looks down at like her like scrubby sort of sleeveless muscle shirt, and she runs in her quarters and like quickly like gets a brush and like tries to like brush her mullet. She like tries to make her face like look okay. She's going to pick up this big red like pipe wrench off her bureau, and she's gonna like slide it down the back. You know, a Wonder Woman wore it in the movie, down the back, sort of like in between her sports bra. Like, so it's just gonna go right here, like down her spine.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. She's gonna wiggle it down.
Posture.
And then she's gonna take something off her nightstand and slide it into her pocket. It could be a hair comb. It could be a butter knife. You don't know. But she puts it right in her cargo pant pocket and walks out to meet the others.
Artemis, how do you get ready?
Artemis is watching everybody like get ready, and she's very like confused by this, and like in her mind she can't change anything about herself. She is who she is. So she takes the part of her hair and flips it to the other side to reveal her scar and like a shaved head, and she just immediately looks more intimidating, which she uses like all the time when she's out being a thief. So she's just going to try to look the most rugged that she could possibly look. But she doesn't do much. She doesn't have to do much. She looks pretty fucking rugged.
So what is our story here? Like, are Puffer and I, like, are we actual Navy personnel and you two are sort of conscripted civilians? Is that the story?
I'm fine with it. We're all not currently Navy because of deniability.
Right.
It is just due to deniability, we are technically civilians now. I guess we were, like stopgap or reactivated for this mission, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Right.
Because we are civilians aboard the Kate's Gambit,
Right.
and this is our mission. Because we don't want anyone to know the Imperium was even doing this.
Right.
So just much as
I shouldn't have my uniform on at all then, right?
Maybe you get dressed, and then we did like one of the others just walks down the hall and sees you in front of the mirror putting on your uniform for the first time in like 10 years.
Yeah.
And like you just you like Picard maneuver, and you just like you're looking at yourself and you've affixed the lieutenant commander insignias, and you're just looking at yourself, and then someone's like, you probably shouldn't wear that.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Right.
And now one other thing with Puffer's armor is it is a smart fabric, so it cleans itself. It always looks pristine. So even when he comes out with grease and grease stains on it, they will slowly fade. So if he's not wearing his coat, his armor looks like he just got it at the store yesterday. Just
awesome.
How does it deal with smell?
I probably have like I don't know, like some Old Spice or. I think he's probably more of a Drakkar Noir guy.
It's got an infusion of deodorant in there.
Yeah.
He's like, yes. All right. Okay. So the four of you meet at the airlock, and maybe you each like give a glance to each other, like, "Gosh, the fuck are we about to do?" And then
Gigi's gonna look and lean over to Artemis. Well, I didn't know we were gonna put our tuxes on.
I didn't even know that they had tuxes. Who the hell carries around a tux?
How are we gonna explain the way we look? You guys didn't tell us we were gonna get all dressed up.
I always wear this. I just wear a coat of.
Yeah, I'm just wearing my cloth armor now. Like I have taken off my dress blues, so I'm just wearing like my cloth armor and my sort of cool looking space leather jacket.
Oh, and Artemis does have her Gauss pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I got my trusty laser sidearm.
Okay. So one of you reaches over and punches the button to open
Artemis.
up your. Artemis reaches over and punches the button to open up the airlock, and then the airlock on the other side opens. It's like, and you see. Okay, so you're looking into the kind of staging area on the Ellison. It's very dark, not the kind of pristine white or like kind of chrome that you would expect from a Navy vessel. And standing there in front of a cadre of Marines whose hands are all on their weapons if they're not pointing at you is an officer. He has the insignia also of a lieutenant commander. He's short and stocky. His hair is maybe a bit longish for the military, not long, but still like not quite as tight as you might expect. And
Get a haircut, you hippie!
and he looks deeply suspicious of you. And he looks over the four of you, and he like steals a glimpse into your ship. Like he kind of looks around there. He goes, "You can leave the weapons behind, or you can turn them over to the Marines."
Excuse me?
You can leave the weapons behind.
I heard what you said. You saw the document. You understand why we're here. I don't trust you just as much as you may not trust us. Excuse me for not wanting to bring along protection. Also, we're in the middle of space. I don't know if you've realized you've probably jumped so much your brains are a little scrambled. I'll be keeping my weapon on me. Thank you.
Except in times of war, the only firearms permitted on this vessel are those on active duty Marines. You'll notice I am not carrying a weapon. You'll notice that none of the officers and crew on the ship are carrying a weapon. You may leave them behind on your ship, or turn them over to the Marines, if you expect to board.
I unbuckle my belt and I hold my hands up and I toss the laser pistol back into our ship.
That was a good throw. Did he get it in there?
Well, we're standing in the airlock, right?
I'm
I'm not throwing it like out the window of the ship.
I like the
an argument.
idea
My
of
pistol
taking
and sword belt
a laser
and
pistol
hang
and
it.
throwing it.
It goes off.
I will hang it on the nearest hook while looking.
Artemis takes her Gauss pistol, shows it to them, and then places it on a table just inside on the ship.
So you just like look at it, just put it right.
Does
Okay, so Gigi sees what everyone is doing, and she sees lastly, what Artemis does, and she sort of just nods and puts on the same sort of attitude, walks over to the ship, takes out a butter knife, slams it on the table inside, and then reluctantly, you see her just pull this out. Like her eye is right on the dude like this. Slowly pulling out a massive pipe wrench that gets stuck in her hair. I'm just gonna throw it back into the ship.
Clank, 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 clank.
Thank you.
That's where all those dents keep coming from.
Don't start now. Don't you start right now.
Hammering those.
All right. Let's get this over with. If you'll follow me. And he just kind of turns on a heel and starts walking.
Start following.
Let's follow.
Okay.
All right. You follow, and the Marines just kind of watch you, and you follow him kind of out, down into their ship. And you step on board the Ellison and turn the corner, and they just kind of fall into line and are walking directly behind you, like just guarding you wherever you go. Okay. So as you're walking down the corridor, again, this is... this probably strikes Puffer and Philo especially, but this does not look like your average naval vessel. It's a fairly raw space. Like, your experience of naval vessels of any kind is that they're clean, they're bright, they're decorated in shades of chrome and white. These corridors are dark, and they're lit really only by running lights. And if you look up, the cabling and the piping is just kind of right there. They're not, they're just kind of neatly tied up and organized, but still just largely uncovered. The corridors are cramped.
Does it look like a lot of repairs, or like it was just made this way?
It was just made this way. Like, they just didn't install like ceilings or plating or whatever it is to cover all that up. The corridors are cramped. The ceilings are rather low, and they're divided by bulkhead. The corridor is divided by bulkheads as you go, and every so often you kind of have to step over a compartment door. And to us, if not your characters, this feels less like a starship than it does a submarine. Okay, so you are currently. I had so much fun with this, mapping out what was on what deck. So you, the airlocks are on deck 7. You have to get up to. He's going to take you up to deck 3. There are no lifts. This is all like. There's no elevator. There's nothing. He's basically like walks you down a corridor, turns, like makes a sharp left, and there's a steep kind of set of stairs that you can go up, and he just takes you and you walk up from deck 7 to deck 3, so four levels, and he takes the most efficient way there, and you're just kind of like, you barely have time to take anything in, but you do notice crew out and about on the ship, and yeah, they're all wearing, the crew and the officer you're following are all wearing uniforms from like 73 years ago.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd at least like to do a recon to see if I can at least start IDing if there's any signage as we're basically going up probably ladder after ladder of like what is here, so I can start kind of building my head map of what this place looks like, when we get chased by spider monsters. I don't know, but
yeah. Standard, yeah. All right, yeah, roll recon.
Oh shit, no. So if we're going to use intelligence or education, either way, it's a 4.
Okay. Anyone else want to roll?
I can roll recon.
Okay.
That's a 10. Oh wait, I don't add anything if it's a 0. It's just I don't
Just your
minus
roll.
it.
Yeah, you don't subtract anything.
That's a 10.
You can add, I would slightly roll education I would say education for this matter.
Okay, I could do that. So that's going to be 12.
Okay. All right. So what you pass.
One thing, could I do a pilot or a naval tactics or something? He's just entranced by this ship, like as a fan of like old like military tech and everything. Is there anything I can roll to sort of compare this of anything similar, like in Imperial naval history or space travel history? Can I do a naval tactics or I guess pilot?
Do you have history? Do you have science?
I don't.
So history is a science roll, technically.
Okay.
So why don't you roll? You have Jack of all trades, right?
Yeah, Jack.
So give me a science roll, like a science history level 0 roll, essentially.
Okay, 11.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this doesn't seem... The biggest feeling you get is that this wasn't really designed with an aesthetic, like a naval aesthetic. A lot of what you're seeing is very functional.
Right.
And
it's like a prototype.
It's a prototype, yeah, and you know that to be true. It's consistent with what you know. But also, it's like there's no one to impress. Like there's no dignitaries coming on board. You're not received. This ship isn't being sent on any diplomatic mission. Like this is a warship, and it is designed for deep penetration and fast combat.
Right. Okay.
Your recon rolls. So as you're walking down deck 7, you see clearly marked the door for the med bay. As you ascend to deck 6, you also see you pass through a crew common area. That's where you get a glimpse of a bunch of crew that are off duty, but they're standing like. There's a bunch of them in the common area kind of waiting to get a glimpse of you because they've heard something was up. You also see a sign for the mess, and you would assume the kitchen's on this deck as well. You move up through deck 5. Deck 5 is you don't see much of anything that way. You see some storage, and then deck 4. Basically, you just turn around deck 4. You don't see anything at all. And then deck 3, you get to the ward room. It's right near the stairs. Okay. So the officer, Gets to the wardroom, and you can tell he just thinks this is just ridiculous that they're even entertaining this notion. He's like, "Are you ready? You have your fruit roll-up prepared?"
As always, as one might expect in a given situation like we find ourselves in. Of course, we have a traditional fruit roll-up ready to go.
Good. And he spins the wheel to open the compartment door and steps into it, and you walk into the wardroom. So the wardroom is actually, of all the things you've seen so far, this is the most decorated. It's still pretty dark, but there's a big dining table or like dining / conference table. It probably does double duty. There are some, there's some displays on the wall offering information about the ship's current status. Nothing too in-depth because this is meant to be also a receiving area in addition to a wardroom for on a submarine. The wardroom is just, it's kind of the officer's mess and work area and study area. And you see, waiting for you there are, let me just count, 1, 2, 5, 6 people. 6 people. I will run through them as they introduce themselves. So at the head of the table is a woman in what looks like her early 30s with short jet black hair tied in a bun at the nape of her neck. She's standing there. You can tell she just carries herself with absolute military precision. Excellent posture. And she just seems entirely unflappable. And she says, "Hello. My name is Captain Yang. These are my officers. Please have a seat."
And Yang.
Roll recon, all of you.
All of us.
And then for them, I at least will give a proper salute and acknowledgement of the captain. Unlike
Same.
the admiral earlier, this one I actually will.
Okay.
4 for Philo for recon.
For recon.
7.
I was
for
wondering if I can
Artemis.
use anything. I can't use social. I don't have anything for social. Never mind.
Yeah, what stat are we using?
Use education or intellect.
Okay.
8.
Oh,
Yep,
Okay.
9.
9
Great.
if I used education.
So Artemis and Gigi, you notice this, but you don't necessarily know what it means. But Puffer, you notice that on her epaulets, she does not have the insignia for a captain or even a commander. She has the insignia for a lieutenant commander.
The captain died.
Okay.
The captain.
Field commission.
So you all take seats around the conference table. Also, okay, so then this kind of affable, he's got that feel like he's kind of awkward. He's awkward, but he's also kind of outgoing, and it's a kind of a weird combination. Big smile, and he has this terrific sweep of dark hair on his head. He's got lieutenant bars on his shoulders. He also has that feel like someone who they're kind of tall, but they don't quite know how much space they take up in a world. So he's kind of lumbering, and he seems very friendly and affable. And he's like, "Sorry, I don't want to make this weird, but can I know your names?" Were you allowed to know that? I'm sorry.
Didn't we send you the fruit roll up? It has all of our information on it.
I'm Lieutenant Damon. Sorry, I just thought it'd be nice to make a personal introduction.
Oh, okay. Georgina, Gigi, Christian, Ensign. That's me.
Nice to meet you.
I'm a former ensign, Philo speaker.
Former ensign, that officer who led you in, was you former ensign?
Yes.
Don't meet many
Ensign Wes DeMar.
And you can see he just kind of shoots like a dagger look over at the captain, and he's like, "You don't meet many former ensigns, not in this navy."
No, well, to be fair, it seems as though you haven't met many new people in quite some time. Isn't that true?
And he gives you a look like he doesn't know what the hell you're talking about. And then the captain steps in, she's like, "Commander Wilkes, can you please just have a seat?" And he gives you like one last look, and then he like You can tell there's no love lost between him and the captain. He sits down. He goes, all right, fine. If we're sharing, Lieutenant Commander Wilkes, astrogator, second officer, I guess. Lieutenant Damon, by the way, he's the chief engineer. Yeah, and he's the third officer. Okay. And you, Artemis, do you introduce yourself? So the Lieutenant Damon reaches a hand out to shake you to shake with you. Lieutenant Damon, nice to meet you.
Artemis. And she shakes his hand. If he put his hand out, she'll shake it.
All right. Okay. So then you glance over, and there's a middle-aged woman who's with like dark, short, cropped, curly hair, who has a strange mixture of both kind of no-nonsense military rigor and maternal warmth, and she hasn't sat down. And if you realize she actually isn't one of the officers. She is. She has the insignia of a senior chief petty officer. Huh. Mm-hmm. And the captain says, "Cobb, you're welcome to sit." She says, "No, thank you, sir. No, thank you." And she's kind of standing in the background, just watching.
Does she in any way remind me of the way Miss Banks watched us?
Not really. I mean, you get the feeling it's this is the officer's wardroom, and she's not an officer. She's the chief of the boat, but she would not feel it would be against regulations for her.
It's like a kid showing up in the teacher's lounge.
I was like, she's the one in charge, but okay.
Well, I mean, it's a good feel, because as you would know, as a former naval officer, as the chief of the boat, she's the liaison between all the enlisted personnel and the officers. So she's in this kind of funny in-between territory. So basically, probably, if something's going on the boat, she knows about it. And she also, even though she isn't, and she's got a lot of authority, even though she's outranked by everybody else in the room. All right, the captain leans in and says, "We read your document. Fascinating story." I'm sorry, that's not her voice. "We read your document. Fascinating story. Why are you here?"
So, yeah.
Tell me why you're here, really.
The fruit roll-up said we were contacted by the Imperial Navy in regard to a situation of a sighting of your ship that has been missing for about 70 years. And being the fact that there are 2 former Navy aboard the ship, we were selected to either retrieve or scuttle the ship before it is found by enemies of the Imperium. So this is an unofficial,
creates all kind of uproar.
Naval,
it's like, scuttle. What the scuttle the ship? Like, what the 7? And the captain just like silenced everybody. Miss 70 years.
We know how it sounds. The Navy referred to you, and honestly, everyone refers to you as a ghost ship.
We thought the ship would be abandoned. We were ready for some tragedy. So when we received your radio message, it was a bit of a shock to hear from the dead.
70. I'm sorry. The captain is glancing at her. She looks over at a young man in his early 20s with dark hair and precisely groomed stubble, and you notice that when he was sitting down, one of his legs is prosthetic. And she says, "Doc, perhaps you'd like to sit with our corpsman. 70 years. What kind of nonsense is this?"
Well, how long do you think you've been?
Astrogator could probably check. We've got records going back a long ways. You want to know how your favorite show ends? We probably got it.
True. He watches a lot of television.
I mean, did you
great resource.
experience anything strange on any of your jumps? I'm an astrogator, and I'm pretty familiar with the process of jumping, and it's all your ship is supposed to do. Have you been keeping up with the jumps that you're supposed to have? Have you had issues, problems?
So isn't there a ship like just here from our point of view? Like,
Yeah, it did.
we did a scan and there was nothing,
Yeah.
and like, boop, there it is.
I'm not even going to bring that up yet because they're already so confused.
The astrogator, so Lieutenant Commander Wilkes, the man that met you at the airlock, is if he was distrusting before, he's now actively pissed. And he grabs the nearest data pad off the table and he starts tapping into it. And it's like looking at the original iPad now. It looks huge and clunky, even though it's still a wondrous item.
Right.
And he taps into it and he slides it across the table at the four of you. And according to that data pad, based on the star charts available to the ship, it is 70 years in the past. 73 years in the past, to be precise.
Do we have a data pad on us?
I would say no. I would say no.
Oh.
Well, yeah, no, you'd have really whatever. Well, your armor has computer.
My armor is my computer.
Do you wanna check things?
I can pull it out, make sure like this like work. I mean, like, you know. Oh
Yeah.
Oh, physical
Okay.
plugs. How cute.
Hello, computer.
Wi-Fi password.
Hello, computer.
Hello.
Yeah. So if you want to pull out your tap into, maybe it's on your arm. You're like, if you want to do that.
Yeah, because it would have to have some interface on it. So
If you pull up the date, the calendar, the date and time application on your computer, it reports that it is 73 years in the past.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Whoa.
wait,
Wow.
on our computer?
On your
We're-
computer.
we're in a time warp. We're in one. We traveled into one. We're all in one. They're stuck in it. They're stuck in... Oh my god.
Did something go wrong during the jump? Did we do something differently?
Can Artemis do like an education check just about like the process of jumping and like everything she's learned? And has she ever heard any harebrained like, and if you mess up, there's this theory that, you know, you'll be like some professor, not Professor Nova. She's beautiful and smart. She doesn't believe in conspiracy theory. She's strong.
But
Anyway.
apparently she was into some illegal shit.
Not because of her. I asked her to hold one thing. It doesn't matter.
It could be a professor you've never kissed.
If
Yes.
nothing
Doesn't
else.
have to be.
This is a professor I've never Wait, that doesn't exist. It has to be a professor.
There is some fantastic investment opportunities that we are looking at if we can get out of this. But
You've got the sports almanac and that armor of yours, don't you?
of course, I have a sports almanac. So I would actually like to see, like, do I have like, emails that have dates? I mean, like, is what else going on the computer? If this is like, can I show its record of like when all of a sudden it just suddenly went back 70 years? Like, well, making a correction. Like that, I would like to make a computer roll going, well, that's weird.
Roll for it.
9.
Okay, so you start flipping through your computer, you look at all the emails, you look at, basically it looks as if as if your computer just corrected the time, like when you just change time zones, and all the timestamps on everything suggests they happen, like you still have all your emails, but they just seem to have happened 73 plus years ago.
Okay.
It's like whatever the day was minus 73 years.
Okay. Wow, we've got so much stuff that's got made by manufactured dates all over our ship. We can prove this argument, and then we need to find out why the fuck this is happening.
And Artemis rolled a 9, just trying to rack her brain for like any information about time related to jumps.
So yeah, if you can slingshot around the sun and go back now. So
Say,
That's
for
right,
example.
I forgot.
for example, you have never heard of any kind of jump or misjump causing any kind of chronological event. Misjumps, like, unless we're kind of like when you misjump so terribly that you you basically trap yourself in the universe for trillions of years. That happens, but nothing that would take you backwards in time. Yeah. So the captain's like, this is some kind of joke, right?
Yeah.
We need to access our ship's sensor logs.
You're going to explain to me why you're actually here.
Well, I can tell you why we came here, but I can't tell you why we're right here 70 years in the past. But if I get out of here, I got some really good advice to give younger me in a few years.
And the captain just like it turns to Wilkes like, could this have happened because of the misjump? And
Misjump?
yeah, so I'll let Commander Wilkes explain. Commander Wilkes, and you can tell he's just like he's like needled, like stuck a needle like directly into his heart, and he's like, yes, unfortunately, we were training some newer crew on plotting jumps, and we had a minor misjump episode. I, of course, took full responsibility. The captain understood these things happen. It won't happen again. But yes, we did experience a misjump on our last jump. But no, Captain, there'd be no reason a jump would cause any kind of chronological anomaly. That's preposterous.
Is that
And
how
you
one
should
of
know
your
that, sir.
Is that how one of your crew members died?
And like the room just kind of freezes.
Is it happening again?
They're like, all right. So an officer who hasn't spoken yet, he's in his mid-20s. This guy, he's rather tall, 6'4", which, like, judging from the corridors you've been walking through, is extremely tall for this ship. He's sandy-haired, and you can see his hair is kind of thinning, even despite how young he is. He's kind of gangly, a little goofy-looking, and he leans over and he says, "How do you know about the captain?"
Like I said, we were briefed on your ship entirely. How many crew members you had when you departed, and when we scanned your ship, I only recognized 41. We were told you had 42.
We were expecting 0.
We thought you would
Yes.
all be dead. And again, we are just as confused as you are. Even more so now. I thought I knew what was going on.
We can show you sensor logs. I can show you the end of all your favorite TV shows.
We have expiration dates on cheese in our own galley that you could look at.
If you look
Maybe they
if you look
didn't
in our
have this
recycler,
technology.
it's on all my pudding.
Enough, stop. I don't know how you knew about the captain. This is the captain, and I did her voice wrong. I don't know how you knew about the captain, but until we understand what's going on, I'm going to have to confine you to this. All right, and you can tell she's just like trying to like grapple with a lot of weird information in a very weird situation. Yeah. You understand?
Plus, she's probably not used to being in command, from what we've been told.
She turns to the chief, and she's like, "Chief, we're going to investigate their ship. Please take them down to the crew quarters. See that they each get a berth. You're confined to the ship until further notice. Until we sort this out.
Emperor's orders, we have command of this ship.
By the Emperor's orders,
I would like to do an advocate.
Okay, go ahead.
Damn it, I've always been talked down to by officers. 13.
Oh, goody.
What law do you quote? do you pull out all kinds of like statutes and references?
The law of living emperors and not dead ones.
Yeah, well, I personally don't know which law I quote, but it has to do with the fact that we were basically reactivated on a covert mission, given command by this admiral for this order, and anyone that is aboard the ship falls under our command.
Your documents have not been fully verified. They check out, but I have not received any communication from
You're not
High
going to
command.
for 70 years.
You
Because
keep saying,
I'm going to go ahead and call them out that they have actually fucked up the Emperor's ship so bad that they're not going to be able to confirm it for 70 years. That is part of why we have been put in charge.
you say you are a former naval officer. If that's true, you'll know that I am bound by a strict set of regulations that nothing happens on the ship without my say-so.
Oh,
Or
well,
direct
evidently it did.
approval.
We have
Keep
a
talking,
fruit
mister,
roll-up.
or you can enjoy our brig.
Okay. I don't know what I need to do, but I am going to have to sit up here over the fact that when they get this confirmed, and I am put in charge. Actually, when this is done, and Milo is put in charge. I'm still above her.
You're above me too.
Yeah,
You'll
by rank,
outrank me when this is
You'd
over.
be in charge.
that the insult to the Emperor will have happened, and we know what happens when somebody basically tries to take over. It would be a mutiny. No, I will attempt to intimidate, throw out as much legalese as possible.
Okay.
Throw my head back. Wish I wore my instant things. And
This is like a Crimson Tide.
yes.
Like Denzel.
I'm Gene Hackman with a freaking prison tat on my face.
Authority of the ship. I'm in command here.
All right. You whip out all kinds of legalese, and you sound very intimidating and very impressive. And then the only officer who has not spoken up yet is you look. He's easily in his early 40s. He's got male pattern baldness, and what hair has left around the sides is kept very short. He's got the look of someone who's kind of like seen everything. He's been there and done that. But then you see his rank, and he's only a lieutenant. Like, something's weird. He leans in and he goes, "Captain, if I may, they say they got evidence on their ship that they can prove what they say is true. Well, let's take a look at their ship. Have them show us. We'll send them in with Marines so they can't try any funny business. Just a humble suggestion, sir."
Well, I was going to say, with all due respect, Admiral, you may not know how our ship works. So it's because it's been so long and so many updates have been made technology since the last time you saw any sort of ship. This is going wrong. I'm sorry, but that's why I was saying yes. Probably one or two of us should accompany you through the walkthrough.
All right. The captain looks around the room. You're going to show me, and you're going to show Lieutenant Damon and Lieutenant Commander Wilkes what evidence you have and what you say is true. And if you cannot prove it, you will be confined to your new crew quarters until further notice while we verify this information. You understand this ship and this mission is on a mission of highest secrecy.
Yet we knew how many crew were aboard.
I cannot explain your knowledge.
Or its name.
What was the guy's name who just said that he thinks it's a good idea, like blah blah blah?
The lieutenant.
That was Lieutenant Plax.
Okay, Artemis is going to turn to Lieutenant Plax and just say, "Thank you for being reasonable." Sorry, Plax, Lieutenant Plax. She's like reading his name.
Yeah, Lieutenant Plax. I'm just the supply officer here. I don't matter except to keep people fed and watered. I just wanted to offer a compromise measure so cooler heads could prevail.
How old are you?
I'm 43. What does that matter?
Plus or minus 73 years.
Right.
Okay.
Do you got something to say?
No, you look good for 43. I'm 42, so sometimes I see people and I like to gauge my own age based off of theirs, and I do a little mental math of how I'm looking. Anyway, and she just walks away. But now she's thinking there's also something up. I don't know, like maybe they're like aging somehow. Like maybe the aging is weird. I don't know. She's just, because this is the second person. Matthew said one had thinning hair, even though he looked really young. This one had like a baldness. So I'm just like, maybe there's
our matriarchal.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Artemis is getting freaked out. She didn't think this would be like a time zone thing. She thought the ship just disappeared and fucked up.
All right. So the captain and Lieutenant Commander Wilkes and Lieutenant Damon are going to accompany you and the Marines to the Kate's Gambit, where you're going to provide evidence of the fact that you are from 73. That you are not 73 years in the past. Yeah. Okay. So they escort you back down toward the airlock. You have a detachment of Marines coming on board your ship. What do you show them?
I was going to say we probably need a little meeting to discuss what we're going to show.
The Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola. The cans of
Is there a year on it?
Yeah. No. Actually, I'm pretty sure for engine parts and all that, there are manufactured dates and a lot of stuff.
Okay.
It's like stamped on the parts.
All over our ship. It's like, look, go up into an air duct and you will find it. Do you think that they would have fabricated this ship that exact for this type of ruse?
That's true. We could fabricate the Coke, we could fabricate the cheese, but we cannot fabricate pipes and airlocks and things.
All right. So maybe you go to a specific example, like you just show them.
Then media. Oh yeah, I'll take them. I'll show them the engine room. I'll show them all this, like manufactured dates. If I can remember any of my engineering, I can address changes that have happened in the past 70 years. Like, the coils now they go however many spirals per centimeter versus the old way.
Okay. So you take them to the engine room, and you're like, for example, and you lead them over to, I don't know, one of the power plants, right? The core, and you point to it, and the captain, Lieutenant Commander Wilkes, and Lieutenant Damon all lean in, and they look at it, and they just look back at you, and they say, "And this is supposed to prove what?"
I'm showing the advancements in technology. I can show them manufacture dates. Like,
roll recon, all of you.
Oh no, something is smelling fishy.
8.
8.
Oof.
6.
6.
Terrible.
All right. Well, you see, everything looks the same. Like, it's still the same machinery. It's still the same parts. But the manufacture dates are from over 73 years in the past.
Oh.
Okay. Philo says, 1 moment, please, if someone will take me to my quarters. And if someone does, I'm going to go through my books, and I have a 2-year-old copy of Anju Koilo's his Tales of the Imperial Emperors. And there is an index in the back with a timeline of all the emperors of the Third Imperium with years. So he's going to open to that page and see what he finds there.
It only goes up through the previous emperor.
Now I feel like he feels like he's going insane. Like he's just
I mean, you probably do feel that way.
Yeah.
Can we do sensor logs? Can we can we see a moment that the stars changed or the ship? Like, what happened?
Yeah,
when that ship appeared, like, what else? Were there
also,
energy surges or?
They're not going to let us, but I want to look at their sensor logs because I don't trust Wilkes about the misjump. If they had a misjump, I mean, something went wrong.
All right. Well, first of all, you have to deal with the detachment of Marines and the officers of the Ellison who are standing there looking like, You're going to tell us what's going on.
Well,
And you're going
look
to
at the
tell us
data
now.
pad. Look at the data pad.
What about it?
It's newer than your data pad. The parts, the ship.
Well, this is an
Right.
old ship though too. That's part of the problem is that like a scout courier is like a very old design.
Yeah.
So-
Far Trader,
Oh, yeah,
basically.
Or
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
still
Well, even that, like
centuries
Far Trader is like
old,
still
it's
like
like-
really old. Yeah.
With
all
all
right.
the pieces. Damn it.
The captain pulls you aside, the group of you aside. Says, all right, I don't know what's happening here, but you're going to tell me what's going on. And I want to know exactly. Obviously I want to do what's right. But you can't just tell people such lunacy and expect everyone to believe you. I can't just hand over my ship.
Right now, I feel like the universe is gaslighting us.
What would we have to gain by doing this?
Yeah, what type of prank is this?
To lead you straight back to the army that you are a part of, if we were not in on it, would be certain death for us.
This is a good-
You have to understand. I can't have this conversation. All right. You have to understand the nature of the mission of this ship is of vital importance to the Imperium. We answer directly to the High Command. If I were to... In the last missed jump, our jump drive was damaged. The captain died preparing to repair the jump drive. We were supposed to jump days ago.
Oh,
Wait, so you didn't jump
How
when we
long?
found you?
do you think this mission's been going on? Like, from your side?
We've been in space 3 months.
And did you from your point of view, did you complete a jump and you appeared next to us?
How did we appear on your scopes?
From our point of view, you just appeared like
Literally.
right beside us.
Not
From
even a jump. You were nothing on our radar, and then a blip. You were suddenly in front of us. It's nothing I've ever seen before.
From our point of view, there was nothing, and then there you were.
Matthew, in your reckoning of things, if someone like jumps in, because otherwise it sounds like someone could just have jumped into our sector and then they would appear. But is there some other sort of phenomenon that occurs? You would say like, oh, you can say these people just jumped into this area rather than they just appeared there with no explanation.
I think in a jump, like there's a kind of
Residual
space-time continuum phenomenon. Yeah, you'd be able to scan to see like
Like a light, maybe a something on sensors, like a burst of gamma rays or
Yeah, right.
hydrogen
something like that.
atoms that just managed
Yeah.
not to get consumed that whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did not
But this
detect.
didn't happen. It was just they were 1 second they were not there, the next second they were.
Exactly.
We'll say we will compare your sensor logs to our appearance. We can show you our sensor logs for your appearance. That night, both of us would have shown up. I'm assuming. I can't assume anything right now. Without any of the telltales of a jump from any of that. And yeah,
Very well.
Yeah.
You have to understand. This ship is meant to spend no more than 30 minutes out, not in jump, at any given time unless we are collecting fuel. For no other reason are we to be just out in normal space. It's a direct violation of our orders, but our jump drive is damaged. We cannot go to jump until we complete the repair.
I'll help you.
I'll
I'll help you fix the jump drive. I want to know more about what's going on anyway.
Absolutely not.
did we get? Because it was like released like on the internet, that video that kind of sparked off this whole thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, show them that.
Yeah.
But if we could get the date and time that happened, and then check their sensor logs, if they compare to when they saw the other ship, like from their point of view, how much time passed between those two moments?
Great question. Okay, so let's do this sense. What the captain expresses to you is that she has every available member of her crew working on the repair. So she has very few personnel to spare on this. All right. I'm going to assign Sub-Lieutenant Volman to be your direct liaison. You don't go anywhere on board the ship without him. Obviously, I'm going to have to restrict your access to sensitive areas, but you are to work with him and compare our sensor logs, run whatever diagnostic you need on your ship and our ship to compare what's happened. Yeah, so basically she's going to give you more. She's not going to confine you to quarters. Like, she is convinced that whatever happened, you're in it with her. Also, you probably would get the sense that she doesn't want to let you go. Like this ship, the existence of the ship is highly confidential. If you're lying, she can't possibly just like send you on your way.
Right. Well, she couldn't even let us like radio out or anything. Like no transmissions.
No.
Like
your transmissions are restricted.
Yeah.
And Lieutenant Volman, she's like, I'm going to ask that you stay on our ship. You'll be perfectly comfortable, and we have extra berths. But until we understand what's going on, you'll stay on our ship under our supervision. Is that clear?
Understood.
If your authority is checked out, I will of course obey the Emperor's orders, but until such time...
Do you have any shuttles?
Yes, this ship is equipped with 2 ship's boats. Neither are jump capable.
Perfect.
Okay. Not that we intend on taking off or anything. I think we just wanted to know in general.
Do you have probes? Do you have any probes on this ship?
Yes, of course. We have standard complement.
Could you send out some probes just out? And have them just report the time periodically, like every hour?
It sounds like a wise idea. Yes. Lieutenant Damon can assist you with that. Yes, he will.
I will gladly help with that.
Great. All right. This is obviously, if there are Emperor's orders for me to turn over the ship, I will of course do so. But until such time, I cannot relinquish control of this vessel.
You should also know the other reason why we're out here is because it's not going to make any sense to you. There are 2 planets vying for power over your ship because someone spotted it. Now, I don't know what time or what year because I'm so fucking confused about what's going on. But we might run into others, and you need to be prepared as captain to take that on. We have no power on your ship, but I would like to have power of my own choice not to die on your ship.
Also, those ships are not allowed to know this is Imperium. It would absolutely destroy the Emperor's plans of expanding the Imperium. That was why we were sent. They weren't allowed. They were not supposed to know this ship is here, and especially not be Imperial.
Roll persuade.
Okay.
Let's say Sydney and Seth both can roll.
So is this based off social?
Yeah.
Oh, not my best.
Well, okay, I'll let you if you wanted to use
no.
education and you're able to kind of make an argument about
the history of the planets
history
and stuff.
and
Sid, you want this one?
galactic order.
Okay, well, I did my best. That's a 7.
Why don't we make this a task chain? What did you roll, Seth?
Also a 7.
Oh, forget it.
Okay.
We're too pushy.
Yeah, but just
She doesn't quite. She doesn't disbelieve you, but she also doesn't really know what you're up to, so she doesn't quite trust what you're saying. So if you can provide me with any briefing materials on these planets, and I'll write me a report, and I'll evaluate.
Can I think back, just using education, jack of all trades, to what the political situation was on Clorth and Nodra 70-some years ago compared to now?
Yep.
That is a 10.
You would know the tech level would have been lower, they've been a colony for hundreds of years, and they've hated each other just as much ever since. So like the Cold War was still cold at that point. It hasn't been hot since the early days of colonization, but there's nothing remarkable that happens at that point in history for them.
Okay. So they would be, so it's like these cloth and Noja have been at each other's throats in one way or another for hundreds of years. In our time that we believe we have left to come to you, things are about to heat up quite a lot, and your appearance has provided a match.
Our time. You understand how ridiculous that sounds, right?
I understand. Perhaps we're wrong. Perhaps we've all contracted some sort of space madness. I don't know. But from our perspective, we were given these orders, and that's the best we can go on until we find out differently. This is the best information we have to go on.
You're going to report to the dock and submit yourself for a full physical, just to make sure you haven't contracted some kind of virus or disease of some kind.
Oh no! Already.
The plague.
And Artemis looks and just goes, "Sorry."
Okay. So you meet. So she leads you back onto the ship. The Marines take you to. She gets on the PA and orders Sub Lieutenant Volman to report back to the airlock so he can escort you. She gives him his orders. He was the one that was very tall and had the sandy hair with the mid-20s. He's like, yes sir, of course. How can I help? Where would you like to go first? What's the first order of business? Oh, I should take you to the dock. Yes, okay. So he leads you down. He leads you to the med bay, which, as you remember, is on this level. And you meet the officer with the young man with the prosthetic leg. Do you submit the physicals? Do you do anything, or you just
Philo strips down to his briefs.
Okay. He checks you all out. You're all doing fine. You're in perfect health. Nothing out of the ordinary. And he tells you that. His name is, the doc's name is Sub Lieutenant Henriquez, by the way. Lionel Henriquez. So now that you've done that, what do you want to do? You've got access to much of the ship. Sub Lieutenant Volman will be able to kind of guide you wherever you need to go.
I think we should do sensor logs, and I'd like to launch some probes just out.
Great. Okay, so he's going to take you to the bridge for that. When you get up there, you find that the captain is okay. Yeah, I'll read you what the bridge looks like. This is obviously the nerve center of the entire ship. It's buried deep in its center, not on the top like your ship. Crew sit and stand at stations all facing outward. There are dozens of displays and consoles lining the room, and at the center, Captain Yang is kind of standing over a readout, trying to parse things. And one of the crew shouts out, "Khan, sensors, sweep of the area is clear." And the captain says, "Very well, helm. Z-minus 1,000 meters. Come to heading 147 Mach 35. And there's a young crew member at the helm, and she says, "Z-minus 1,000 meters. Coming to heading 147 Mach 35. Aye, sir." And the captain says, "Sensors, begin another level 5 LiDAR sweep." And the crewman at the sensors just kind of looks over at her confused, and he's like, "Sir, I just completed it." And she's like, "Begin another LiDAR sweep." And her eyes narrow just a bit. He goes, "Level 5 LiDAR sweep, aye, sir." And she sees you on board. "Yes, can I help you? What do you need?"
We need to check your sensor logs.
Yes. Lieutenant Volman, I'm sure you can... yes, sir. Aye, sir. And he takes you over to a station, and he begins pulling the sensor logs from their ship. And you're just looking to compare them with the logs on the Kate's Gambit, right?
Yeah, and also, like, just basically we want to go back a ways, and, like, if they ever picked up those other ships that YouTubed them or not, or, like, anything weird.
And also, their record of our appearance as well.
Yeah.
to see, compare it to our record of their appearance.
Okay.
If there's anything we can learn from that.
So you compare. Let's say you compare the sensor logs. Let's say it takes. I'm gonna say it takes a little while because you're trying to go be detailed. So maybe it takes 4 or 5 hours, and maybe eventually Lieutenant Volman has mirrors the console down to the wardroom so you can be a little more comfortable. And yeah, the sensor. So your appearance appeared to them exactly as it appeared to you. Their appearance appeared to you where there was nothing, and then all of a sudden there was something. They didn't detect any kind of jump particles. They did detect, you do see they did detect the civilian vessel. This is interesting. So when they did, the civilian vessel jumped away, they detected its jump 1 hour ago.
How long have we been on this shit?
Or sorry, 1 hour previous.
Before we.
Oh yeah, but it's like we've been on for 5 hours.
So they detected it 6 hours ago.
Yeah. Am I Pufferly supposed to check his hairline in the mirror?
Yeah. I'm gonna cut my arm off and check the rings.
When they're saying cut my arm off.
I just got that too.
I'm going insane.
When they're talking about this at this weird discovery that it was only an hour ago, Artemis is going to try to sneak away to go see the jump drive and see if she can get into that area and see who's working on it and what's going on.
Okay, so if you're not gonna be able to sneak away, but if you want to ask Lieutenant Volman, he'll take you.
Oh, I was going to do stealth, but yes, I will ask Lieutenant Volman instead.
He's like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I can't let you go. I can't.
Oh,
You gotta go with me. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Just trying to move along. A lot of stuff going on, and I'm getting really concerned about the predicament we're in.
Philo's trying to cut his arm off over there.
I know.
Yeah,
He's
Philo,
just, you
stop.
better hurry. I'm going to do it. I swear to God.
Philo, no, that's
My
the
forehead
butter
always
knife.
been this big.
It won't work.
It'll take a while, but it'll work eventually. So you'd better hurry up. Although you guess you probably do have several hours before I'm able to manage it.
Okay. So you want to go check out engineering? Do you all want to go, or just Artemis?
I'll go to at least use engineering on that because she's got astrogation
Got it.
knowledge.
Okay.
I know.
I think, Philo's going to stay on the bridge, I think.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know if I can do this, but Gigi is she's got massive steward skill. I would love to be able to, there's 41 people on this ship, right? 41?
Yeah. But now 45 with you.
40, yeah. I would love to be able to kind of walk around and talk to some of the people that are on this ship. Because maybe there's somebody on this ship that knows what the heck happened that we can't find out using mechanics and stuff. Maybe someone's a little weird and it isn't one of us on this ship.
All right. Yeah, where do you want to go? Where do you want to... maybe Lieutenant Volman will dispatch some of the Marines, or maybe you talk amongst yourselves. What kind of order do we want to go this in? Because he's going to keep you kind of in the wardroom or in your quarters unless he's escorting you.
Okay.
Who you think you want to talk to? Who you think is going to have the best scuttlebutt?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Gigi,
Yeah.
She's one. Okay, so there's 41 people on the ship. I think I'm just going to start with whomever I see first, wherever. I don't know if people are in their quarters or they just walking around. She's literally just she wants to meander around and talk to people, see if anything sort of stands out to her, because because of her past and working in a big company and being around ships and shipbuilders, and she has a kind of a good sort of understanding of people. And so I feel the steward skill would lend itself to just sort of casing people out. And that's what I want to do. Since everything else is being taken care of, her job is people. So I want to see who's on this ship besides the brass that we already had conversation with.
All right, here's a carouse.
Yeah, there would be carouse would be the right skill. But
Yeah.
here's the... I don't think they're willing to let you just kind of run rampant over the ship and kind of. But
where's your restroom? I'll go find the restroom.
Let's do this. Let's say for a moment, Lieutenant Volman leaves you kind of poring over the sensor logs, and he just says, "I'm sorry, I have to." He's the tactical officer, by the way. So he's got on a ship like this, he's got quite a few responsibilities. He's like, I have to step away for a moment. The Marines are posted right outside the door. You can't leave. I'm sorry, but I'll be back soon. I just have to stay here until I'm back. I'm sorry. And he leaves. And while I'll have some refreshments brought in. And while he's gone, one of the ship's stewards, brings in kind of food and some water and some coffee for you all.
Naval pudding.
Classic 73-year-old naval pudding.
Navy pudding. Yeah.
And she is very curious to see who you are, but she kind of keeps quiet and she starts kind of like assembling the spread on the table. Mm-hmm. What do you say to her?
What do we do when they put snacks in front of us? What kind of question is that?
No, like, what do you want to talk to her? Like, you have a crew member here and you've got nobody listening. So do you want to use your...
Okay, so this is a crew member that we've never seen before.
Yeah, she's just one of the stewards.
Oh, she isn't? I was gonna say, this coffee is 75 years old. Tastes delicious. What is your exact capacity on this ship?
I'm on the steward crew, ma'am.
You're part of the
keep you fed and
cooking?
watered. Yes, I work in the kitchens. I also I monitor the officers' mess and keep the food and beverages stocked and ready for the officers.
That's nice. What's your name?
Oh, crewman Katie Finn, ma'am.
You don't sound too sure of that.
No, my name is Katie Finn. It's true. Sorry, I'm just nervous. Everyone's very curious. You understand our mission is highly secretive. We don't interact with any other ship. We haven't seen another living soul or another ship since we left space dock.
You haven't seen or spoken to anyone except for the people on the ship, except for us who magically appeared next to you in space, right?
You magically appeared next to us in space?
Isn't that what just happened? Are you not aware of what just happened?
You would guess that because she's on the kitchen staff, she probably does not. She wasn't on the bridge, and they've kept it pretty locked down.
We're basically visitors, and we're here on your ship, and we're just trying to find out a little bit more about what possibly happened. So we're just trying to meet everybody, talk to everybody who kind of is here and doing what they're doing.
Is this because of what happened with the captain?
Yes, we got a little bit on that, but you kind of remind me of what went down again, because this snacking on this delicious food, I seem to have forgotten it all. Can you tell me again?
You want to know what happened to the captain?
Again, reiterate it for me again. Yes, sorry, what's your name again? Or did you forget it again?
I'm crewman Finn, ma'am.
Okay, yes.
Well,
yes, proceed.
I mean, what happened to the captain? I mean, everyone knows that. Hemph. She killed him. And we'll see you next week.
Oh, God.
Like it's like this.
Emph?
Hemph. I'm saying hemped.
Hemp. Who is hemped?
I don't know.
Okay, great.
I don't have.
Oh gosh,
Hemp?
we're all
Right,
confused.
making a note now.
We didn't meet a hemp. We did not meet a hemp. God damn it, Matthew.
Okay.